Today we're going to talk about how to build buyer personas that will help you better reach your ideal subscribers and grow your business. Let's go. Hey there, my name is Daniel and welcome to another video on Uscreen Health and Fitness, where we help you make money with your fitness content online. A buyer persona is a representation of your ideal subscribers. These are the people who will come back time and time again to watch your videos, consume your content, refer you to new subscribers, and of course, help you monetize your efforts through ad revenue on YouTube, affiliate programs, or direct sales if you're building your own membership website. Whatever your content is, you'll always have a persona that your videos resonate with. Keeping that in mind, it's important to try to understand, learn, and adapt to that specific persona. A buyer persona goes so far as to have a legitimate name and demographic profile, like Popular Pat, which is the name of one of our most popular personas over at Uscreen. It's a name we formulated to help us remember that specific customer. But before we go deeper into the demographics and characteristics, let's talk about value. Figuring out what your content offers and why people decide to consume it is crucial when trying to identify your target persona. Keep in mind that value is adjusted over time. The biggest mistake creators make is to have an idea and build personas around it and then just leave it alone. Personas need to be revisited sometimes as often as every 6 months, depending on market changes. Be sure that as your value provided changes and the market shifts, that you come back and tweak your personas. For example, you might have an idea of what kind of program you teach and who your audience might be. With that, your job is to do tons of research by leveraging real-life examples and to work backwards to your planned offer in order to adjust it to best fit your persona, fueled by these real-life examples and not just what you want them to be. Personas aren't just about offering value to your audience. They also provide benefits to you, like you know their pain points, which help you better target your content. You know where they spend their time, social media, YouTube, which channels on YouTube, etc. You know what their other interests are, so you can integrate it into your content for even better traction. You know what trigger words or slang to use to best mimic your audience. You also discover over time that what you originally thought would be perfect won't work for your audience. Before we go deeper, it's important to understand why some buyer personas fail. Try to avoid these pitfalls. Relying on intuition alone. Just do the research. Make sure to zone out your ego, your desires, and your preconceptions and be the devil's advocate. Test every assumption about both the audience and your product or service. Question everything, basing them on an aspirational buyer. It's good to have a profile of an ideal customer. In fact, if you're really dedicated, you'll eventually create an ideal customer persona, as well as something called a negative buyer persona, which is the kind of person you don't want. But don't make the mistake of just creating an aspirational buyer persona. Stick to reality, even if it's not pretty. Not updating personas over time. There are no written rules on this to tell you how often to update your personas. It'll depend on your demographics, product, location, competitors, and so on. My suggestion is to set a reminder to check in on your personas every 6 months or so and give them a bit of a facelift to keep them current. But if you see any big movements in the market, like big movements in the financial state of your target audience, make sure you revisit the personas sooner and match them to reality. Trying to make them one size fits all. I can't tell you how many personas you'll need to come up with, but I can tell you it can't be one. The number of personas will depend on your audience and how diverse it is. If you get stuck, creating personas based on gender, income ranges, and lifestyle will give you a half dozen different personas to create. Ignoring negative personas. Now, when you think about a negative Nancy, it's not just about their attitude. Negative buyer personas are much more important than this. It's a persona that helps you pinpoint the exclusion factors for your audience. For example, if they have an injury that prevents them from doing your exercise routine, or if your dietary plan requires intake of things that someone doesn't agree with, you definitely don't want to push your meat-based slimming diet to any vegans out there. Creating them, then not using them at all. Yes, we all get busy sometimes, but these personas will be like a map, showing you exactly who to target and who to exclude. Creating them and abandoning them would be the equivalent of buying a new, expensive workout machine that you never look at again. Yeah, we've all been there, but this one can make or break your business. Keeping these things in mind, the next big question is how to approach the research you need to form buyer personas. There are so many resources to draw from that it can be an overwhelming and complex process. But a good place to start is by identifying a few general demographics, pain points, desired experiences, values, and goals. For example, we research income range, education level, company size, content creation experience level, email list size, and more. These really help us get a better picture, and our personas give us something to benchmark our prospects against. Here's an example of what you should be trying to find out. You'll want to know your audience's location, workout routines or lack thereof, and personal or household income averages. This will help you formulate a price or monetization structure on whatever you're offering. I'd also suggest you include their eating preferences or habits for the extra tight targeting. You should also include their age and gender because you don't want to start serving the wrong imagery to your audience. On top of that, you want to know common aspirations, deal breakers, lifestyle choices, and purchasing habits. You'd be amazed how much of this information is just sitting in plain sight. There are 5 things you can do to get this information. Communicate clearly and honestly with current subscribers. They're the ones who resonate with your content, so build a persona around them. Ask for feedback through your content. Take the time to read comments or messages, and maybe even give an email address for subscribers to reach out to you personally. Create a simple survey that collects basic info that you need to form a picture about your audience. There are tons of free tools you can use for that, like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms. Link the survey in the description of your videos, distribute it in an email, or you could share it on social media. There are tons of ways it can reach your audience. Use tools that offer statistical insight into how subscriber behavior translates to the internet. Are your viewers finishing videos? Do they complete certain actions that you're trying to push for? Are there specific months, days, or times that your views or subscription rates peak? Statista is a great resource for stuff like this. Take advantage of YouTube and Google searches. These 2 tools are easily overlooked when trying to figure out the best content, format, and style within a certain query. But they're the biggest search engines out there, so see which keywords you want to rank for and figure out why the top search results landed those positions. Check people you know fit your personas directly on social media. Visit their social profiles and research their behavior. What phrases do they use? What imagery do they post? What do they respond well to? Keep an eye on the competition and look into their clients. This can be an absolute goldmine if you already have a few well-established competitors. They'll be your best friends without even knowing it. They probably brag about their customers, who you can then go research and learn even more about. After that initial research, now it's time to start thinking about which of your subscribers are your best audience. Do this by figuring out the lifetime value of a particular subscriber. Focusing on these people means you're thinking long-term and focusing on serving these type of subscribers. Here are some questions to consider when trying to determine if a subscriber has a high lifetime value. Do they watch every single video you upload or just a select few? Do they have the tendency to share your videos on social media? Do they have a large following on their social media accounts to help attract new subscribers? You'll end up with a bunch of information about your subscribers and the type of people you want to attract. This fantastic and easy to use tool from Hubspot might be just what you need. I'll link to it in the description below. But what's the purpose of this information? Content. Because if you're here, that means not only are you creating content, but you're interested in monetizing it. And to do that well, you need to be sure you're creating the right thing for the right people. Whether it's thinking of new content, creating it, or optimizing what you have right now, it all comes down to using buyer personas to create the right type of content for your audience. Without this information, you'll easily miss the cues from your audience on what kind of content to create or not create. And without that information, you can say goodbye to any return on time, effort, or finances you've already invested into this. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, would you do me a huge favor and click the like button so YouTube knows I'm doing a good job, and subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Thanks so much for being here. The last thing you want is to have every 2 out of 3 pieces of content all talking about the same thing. So map out your content ideas to make sure there aren't any redundant topics. This goes for both YouTube and if you have a video membership site like our clients at Uscreen. Map out your buyer persona's core problems and pain points, particularly those which you can help them solve. Next, look at these problems and think about your content. Group your content into broad topic areas in which you'd like to be seen as an expert on by your ideal audience. Then map out content ideas that align with each topic area. You can start with some internal brainstorming to generate ideas, and then use tools to expand your list. This comes from understanding what your audience needs. For example, if you find 15 social media profiles that fit your perfect Pat persona, and they all complain that they have issues fitting everything into their days, then maybe you need to split your content into smaller chunks. The goal is to organize your site content by topic pillars. It signals to your audience that you're a topical expert. It also helps people looking for answers related to specific topics to better navigate your site and content. Growing your business here comes down to two things: creating the best possible content and ensuring that it gets found by an audience that fits your personas through all viable channels. Personas will tell you which channels these are. Maybe your audience is on TikTok, or maybe they're on LinkedIn, but only research will tell you. The process of tailoring your content to the right audience and marketing them to the proper channels can become a highly targeted and effective effort with the help of buyer personas. Although the research may seem arduous, keeping this persona and updating them as your platform evolves will help scale your growth to new heights. Do you have an idea of what your most popular buyer persona looks like? Tell me a little about them in the comments below. If you missed the last video I did on leveraging free trials to grow your fitness business, I'd highly recommend you click right here to watch it. I think you'll find it really helpful. And if you're interested in learning more about making money online with your fitness content and you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that right now so that we can stay connected. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.